Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking a really fascinating blend of Himalayan mythology, historical conspiracy, and a bit of sociological analysis, straight from the majestic mountains of Uttarakhand. We're looking at a story that has literally survived for centuries. It's the tale of a young man, a forbidden mountain, and a deep mystery that kind of blurs the line between magical folklore and dark royal history. Okay, let's jump right in. Do fairies actually exist in Uttarakhand? Now, you might be thinking, obviously not. And sure, science points us toward natural energies. But local belief, it is absolutely steadfast. In fact, some sources even claim the area is officially recognized as a domain of these celestial beings. To understand why this belief is just so deeply rooted, we really need to look at the mountain itself. Section 1. The Mystery of Khait Parvat. We began our investigation right here at Khait Parvat, an area officially recognized in local lore as the domain of the Acharis, or celestial fairies. So what's really going on here? Well, this isn't just your average scenic mountain. It's an environment completely wrapped in superstition, taboos, and some seriously unexplained agricultural phenomena. For instance, garlic and ginger just grow naturally there without anyone ever sowing a single seed. It's wild. And get this, if you try to transplant a cutting from this mountain to grow it anywhere else, it immediately withers and dies. Plus, if you visit, locals will strictly warn you against wearing bright clothes or any perfumes. Why? Because the Acharis are drawn to beautiful things and they just might spirit you away to keep you in their realm forever. No way, right? Moving on to Section 2, the Flute and the Fairies. This enchanted mountain perfectly sets the stage for our central figure, Jeetu Bagdwal. Jeetu was a handsome young man from Pahadi village, and his exceptional flute playing literally changed his destiny. Let's look at how this fateful journey unfolds. First, a priest warns that there's no auspicious day for crop sowing unless Jeetu's sister, Sobni, initiates it, so Jeetu sets off to fetch her. But right before he leaves, his pet goat, Tilu, sneezes. Now, in the mountains, that is a massive bad omen. His mother begs him to stay, but Jeetu goes anyway. On his way, he takes a rest at the forbidden Khait Parvat at dusk, plays his flute, and ends up summoning 9 Achari fairies. They're totally captivated and demand to take him. Using all his wit, Jeetu strikes a bargain. He promises to return and surrender to them on the 6th day of the Ashada month, right after he finishes his worldly duty of sowing his fields. Which brings us to Section 3, a bargain with destiny. Having made this fatal promise, Jeetu visits his true love, Barna, for the very last time. Just imagine the psychological weight he's carrying here. Listen to this deeply tragic farewell. He tells her, "The flowers bloom for you, the rhododendron branches smile, but the seasons will change, and I shall not return." It perfectly captures the profound tragedy and what locals call viraha, that gut-wrenching emotional turmoil of separation that defines so much of mountain folklore. He's totally trapped by fate. And then, the 6th day of Ashada actually arrives. The barren land is being plowed, everyone's out there celebrating, and Jeetu is carrying this massive invisible burden. Suddenly, just as promised, the 9 celestial Acharis appear. Right in front of everyone, Jeetu and his oxen literally vanish, sinking directly into the earth. It is a stunning cinematic climax where the earth just swallows him whole, leaving his family and community in absolute shock. But wait, let's look at Section 4, Myth versus History. Because what if the magic of the fairies was actually a brilliant cover-up for a brutal, real-world political assassination? This contrast is startling, to say the least. On the left side, we have the myth, taken into the earth by celestial fairies while plowing his fields. But on the right side, the historical accounts suggest a far grittier reality. It turns out, Jeetu might have been assassinated at the sands of Shitla near Srinagar by King Manshaw's men. King Manshaw ruled from 1591 to 1610, and supposedly, he had Jeetu murdered by Narayan Chaudhary and Bhat Binayak. Why? Well, Jeetu was a tax collector who had become a bit too intimately close with the royal women. No magic fairies here, just a jealous king executing a threat to his royal pride. So why the fairy story? Section 5, Women in Folk Literature. To understand why society so readily accepted the kidnapping myth over the assassination plot, we really need to examine regional storytelling. As noted in this academic research abstract detailing the multifaceted representation of women in Uttarakhand's folk literature, these tales aren't just simple bedtime stories. They actually provide a vital lens into gender dynamics, societal norms, and cultural identity. When we break it down, the roles of women in this literature are super complex. They are nurturers and community leaders for sure, but they're also portrayed as victims of social constraints and patriarchal systems. We also see strong eco-feminist themes, where they are deeply connected to nature, and they act as embodiments of viraha, that immense sorrow of separation we talked about earlier. The Acharis perfectly embody this complex intersection. In a society where real women faced strict limitations, these powerful nature spirits exerted ultimate control. They just take what they desire. And that brings us to Section 6, the enduring legend. Because whether he was the victim of celestial fairies or a jealous king, Jeetu's story definitely did not end with his death. Following Jeetu's death, history tells us that his vengeful spirit began terrifying the royal court. This prompted the king to order that Jeetu actually be worshipped as a deity across Skarwal to appease his soul. Guilt and fear totally forced the king's hand. By ordering this worship, he pacified a potential uprising and permanently elevated the very man he had murdered into the pantheon of regional gods. Talk about a plot twist. Even today, his story is immortalized in folk songs. You can hear the lyrics, Nine Beni Achari Ein, Soon Balyun Jordi Jeetu Dubi Ye, which translates to, 9 fairies came, Jeetu sank with his oxen in the paddy field. These exact words still echo through the valleys during the Ashada month's paddy transplantation, keeping the magic of the tale completely alive. So as we wrap up this explainer, we're left with a really provocative question. Did the earth swallow Jeetu Bagdwal, or did history erase him? Folklore masterfully intertwines with history here, leaving us to decide where the truth truly lies. Was it the enchanting Acharis of Khait Parvat protecting a beautiful soul from a corrupt world? Or was it a king bearing a scandal, only for the people to resurrect the victim as a god? The absolute genius of Uttarakhand's folklore is that it allows both truths to exist at once. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. Keep questioning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.